Hi everyone, I'm Donna Liddell and welcome to the Elevating Entrepreneurs Club. Today I am joined by Heather Cate, one of our new members in the group. So she is here to tell us all about who she is and what she does. Thank you so much for joining us, Heather. Um,
Thank you.
please tell us all about yourself and what you do in your business.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me here. And hi, everybody. I am sort of a wellness warrior for women survivors of narcissistic abuse. I have a course, I have a program, and the design is feminine in base. So it starts where you are, and I hand you a whole toolbox full of things that you can do to address your recovery. And they include nutrition, herbs, spiritual practices, physical exercises, types of yoga, including mudras, which are hand yoga, which, if you can make an okay sign, you can do a mudra, and they're amazingly effective. They're kind of like reflexology. And I like to start where somebody is and help them to get started and heal from the inside out. And as we know, healing is not a straight line. So you may end up circling back around again to the same kind of topic, but you'll be more advanced, like a spiral. So you'll be going up, but it's something that you can keep working with. And then as a private coach, I also do spiritual healing and energy work. So I'm a Shambhala Reiki master healer teacher. And I've been doing this work for, I started doing all of these things decades ago. And really, I started with, I came in with some gifts as a child, but I repressed them because I was told not to use them. And then as an adult, I ended up in some relationships that made me realize, that's where I learned about narcissism, pathological narcissism. And then when I rewound and I looked back at my family, I realized, oh, I was brought up by narcissists. So even though I studied psychology in college and had some domestic violence training, I was not prepared for pathological narcissism, and or I wasn't aware of it as a concept. And once I realized, oh, all of these things that I already know about how to heal are part of what have helped me to heal much more rapidly than many other people who sometimes never heal. And if therapy isn't working, then these other approaches are the way to like just zoom forward so that you don't spend your life talking about it. Sometimes you just need to fix things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It sounds absolutely fascinating. There are so many different things that you said that you do. So when did you kind of set out on this journey to bring this all together and actually help other people?
Well, so there's sort of like two parts to that. I started um, learning about all, like the Reiki and nutrition and herbs and, some of these essential oils, some of these other approaches like alternative medicine or integrative medicine, or because I, starting from very early in life, had medical issues that regular doctors were just making things worse. And as a child, I didn't have any control over that. But as I got older, I was starting to get, sort of be like, this is not right. This is not working. I had just heard about somebody else doing something different. So then I would start exploring that. So it's, I started that decades ago, but then it's been a much more recent history where I started realizing this is really important. And I feel like this is my mission to do this here in this life, to help women recover from narcissistic abuse. Adrenal fatigue is something that happens with this specific type of abuse, and it's something that if you don't know about it, then you can you think like, why am I so tired all the time? I just can't get myself out of the way. I can't get going. I just feel trapped by all of these things that happened to me, even though I got out, thank God, right? It was a miracle that I got out. But now, like, how do I want to live? I want to thrive. I don't want to just like be a robot, So how do you get yourself back? How do you get your spirit back? How do you get your energy back? How do you sleep again? There's so many aspects to it. It's really all encompassing. So that's why it takes like this really, broad and gentle approach, because I don't believe in reprogramming your mind. I think the real problem is that, it's multidimensional, it's metaphysical, it's your body, it's your spirit, it's your mind, it's your emotions. All these things work together. And then you also need to work on your physical environment so that it's supporting and surprisingly little things. So
Yeah.
it can be very gentle and feminine. It doesn't have to be like boom, 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 and it doesn't have to be 1, 2, 3, 4. It can be, where you are and what works for you right now, and then progress onto something, as you go.
Yeah, I love that holistic approach, and I love when you talked about it being like a spiral. I always describe things to people like a spiral. Like you say, there isn't that straight line, and we do go back around things, but just in a different place or from a different place quite often. We can get
Yeah,
a lot of learnings as we go through our lives, but don't
that's right.
always fully learn and the lessons that we need to learn.
That's
Um,
absolutely true. And
yeah,
sometimes it's too traumatic to handle everything all at once, and that can break you. We don't want that. We want to do just whatever you can do right now, and then the rest of you will grow along with it. And then when you're ready, you can do a little bit more. And it's
yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's building on that all of the time, isn't it? Yeah.
absolutely.
And so, who do you work with? Like, kind of, who is your ideal client to be working with?
Well, women who are survivors of narcissism. I also help people who are still disengaging from a narcissist. Um, but because financial abuse is often part of narcissism, if somebody, I try to set up systems and tools that people can use for free, but the work itself is something I need to charge for. So that's, you've got to be in a place where you can actually afford it. But it's anybody who considers themselves a good person. You're probably an empath, meaning you're very sensitive to other people's emotions and feelings and the things in your environment, what's going on around you, because narcissists love to just eat empaths, like, going to McDonald's or something.
Yeah.
But so it's those are my primary people.
Yeah. Do you find that a lot of
From all
people,
walks of life, though, because it's
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's like mental health, it doesn't discriminate in any
That's
shape
right.
or form. And so, do you find that some of the people that you work with maybe don't even realize that that's the kind of relationship that they're in? They just know that there's something going on, or are the people that you work with very aware at that point that that's the relationship they're in, or have just left?
So most of the people that I work with are aware, but it's part of what I do is to try to help with bring awareness, because I didn't know for a long time, and it's one of those things that people are talking about more now, but it's not always accurate. So
Yeah.
some people who don't understand are saying, oh, everybody's saying narcissism, it's not a real thing. I'm like, yes, it is. It's just, yeah. Once you understand, then you can get out of this situation. But it's very hard if you really love somebody to let go, unless you know that it's never going to work.
Yeah.
And then you have to deal with that, because that's a loss. That's a huge grief. But yeah, I'm absolutely happy to work with somebody if they're trying to figure out, what they need to do, because they're feeling tangled, or they feel like there's something that they need to let go of, or and they just don't know exactly, they don't understand the basis, the root cause for that.
Yeah, and I think quite often, having had experiences myself, there is that, like, I went for therapy during the relationship thinking there was something wrong with me. On a number of occasions, went for therapy, not just once, and kind
Right,
of thought, well,
right.
it must be me, like, because of the whole way of the dynamic of the relationship. So we start to question ourselves all of the time, um, and I think that's where even afterwards, not realizing that that was the kind of relationship until you start to see all of the pieces of the puzzle come together and then go, that was exactly what was going on.
Yes. Yep. I talk about it like a kaleidoscope, that the pieces are there, but until you shift it just a little bit, you can't understand what's really happening. But it's absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And a lot of the time it's rebuilding. You talk about that kind of building these people back up and helping them to heal from that.
yeah,
Um, and I think people who maybe haven't experienced that kind of relationship, I don't think understand it as you know, the things that you do around how that does need building, because as you say, there's an element of loss in there. There's either a true love that you feel for somebody, or even like really perceiving that love to be real. And then you go away and you question, was anything real? Was anything, you know? So there's a lot of, I imagine the women that you work with, and certainly the experiences that I had, where you're questioning yourself as to whether or not things were real. Did I really feel that way? Did they really feel that way? What was, you know, and you question everything about yourself.
yes, yep, yep. And one of the things that I feel is really important is that if you are, don't let anybody tell you you didn't feel something or experience something, or that you didn't really love them, because if you loved them, you loved them. Was it good for you? No, that's okay. That's different.
Yeah.
You know, you just, but you, it's really important, because it's really important to honor yourself, your feelings, your needs, your wants, your desires, and who you are. And part of what happens with pathological narcissism is that those people, the narcissists, try to make you feel like none of that's valid.
Yeah.
And that's part of, if you let that ding you, then you can slide in underneath their control.
Yeah.
And so from my perspective, it's really important to believe yourself, believe in yourself, and honor yourself. And I know people who have left relationships where they loved the person tremendously. They tried to do anything for them. But that key phrase of honor yourself. And I remember, this wasn't a client of mine. This was just somebody that I knew. And I was like, he is not honoring you. This that they are doing right now, that guy and his friends, the way they're treating you, the way they're doing this on a consistent basis, that is not honoring you. You've got to honor you. You are worthy. She left him. Eventually, it was painful, and she grieved it, but she's now in a really good, healthy relationship and very happy.
Fantastic. And it just is, you know, it's so beautiful the way that you describe what you do, and helping women to honor themselves it's such a beautiful thing in itself. Even without the kind of narcissistic relationships that we get into, I think there are too many of us out there who maybe don't honor ourselves enough. And
Yes.
that real true acceptance of who you are, and everything that you're about, your wants, needs, desires. And it's something that, within all of the work that I do, it's something that is the value throughout that is truly know, understand, and honor who you are as a person in everything that you do, and bringing that into their business as well, so that it's not following what we should be doing according to somebody else.
Great.
A comment there coming in. Hi, Melanie, who's watching, saying it's very, very interesting. And so, as you move forward with your business, you talked about you do one-to-one, and did you say courses and group work that you do as well?
I'm sorry, what was that? Courses? Yes, I do courses.
Yeah.
I have an evergreen online course that you can do yourself privately. Nobody will know that you're doing it. Nobody can see that you're doing it. It's just for you. But that's on your own. And then, but if you want, support, heavy duty spiritual healing, and energy work, then that's the part where I can personally help you. But the course itself actually helps to build you up so that you are starting to do that for yourself. But if you need support, if you're really super stuck, then the private part works.
Fantastic. And so what's the future looking like for you? Where do you plan to go, and what do you want to do with this?
I want to really grow it. So I want the course to be available and known so that people can go to it and really start getting this help. And it may help somebody who realizes they're in trouble and they need to leave, but they don't have the energy, the resources, that they're too entangled in something. Then, you know, that can be a point that can, where they can start, and they can start to build these things up. Of course, you know, if you are trying to leave, you need to make sure that your partner doesn't know, that they don't realize that you're changing. They don't. So you have to come to a point where you accept that you're doing this, and that in order to save your life, you have to be deceptive.
Yeah.
And that sucks if you're, you know, if that's may not be your normal nature.
Yeah.
But it's really, really, I mean, when it comes down to you know, you living versus being tortured or killed, you absolutely need to protect yourself. So that part of that means hiding things, and that really importantly means hiding that you're changing. And then there's a whole bunch of things that you need to do so that you protect yourself, and you know, that you're financially ready, and that you have a place to land, and all of those things. But in addition to that, you know, what you ultimately need to do is heal your, for instance, your adrenal system, so that you regain your energy, be able to sleep again once you've left, all of these things. But I want this program to be available and widely known about, so that more and more people can heal, because I think more and more people are realizing, and also it's just getting worse and worse and worse. Domestic violence is on the rise. You know, this whole COVID situation is really putting a strain and a stress, and it's pressuring everybody. You know, both the abusers and the survivors. So this is just a really good, important time to be taking care of yourself and healing. So that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to spread the word on, you know, my perspective on why these things happen and what's really happening, because it's not necessarily obvious. And then also, you know, how you can heal from it, because you can. A lot of people don't know that they can heal, but I want people to know that they can, and that it's important, that, you know, you're important, that your role, your job, that you're here for a reason. This is not an accident. You know, maybe you're a bonus baby in your family, but that means that you're a special child. You came on purpose. You know, the divine has a purpose for you, and I'm here to help support you so that you can do whatever it is that your thing is.
That's absolutely incredible, Heather. I'd love you to share your links in the comments as well, and share that link to that evergreen course. So when we come off the call, if you go back in and share the link so that everybody can follow you. Thank you so much for joining us. Let me know if you watch this on replay. Again, thank you so much for joining us. I will see you all again very soon. Take care for now. Bye.
Peace.